If you have ever walked into a brand new home, $400,000 or more, and thought, something feels wrong here, you are not crazy. New homes today cost more than ever in American history, and somehow they feel cheaper than ever. Hollow doors, vinyl floors, no front porch, gray everything, and that new house smell everyone loves, that is not freshness. That is formaldehyde off-gassing from cheap materials in a house sealed so tight the chemicals have nowhere to go. Meanwhile, your grandmother's house from 1955 is still standing. Solid wood doors, real hardwood floors, a porch you could actually sit on, and it cost a fraction of what we are paying now. What the hell happened? I have been walking through new construction for years, and I finally figured out exactly what went wrong. Let me show you.
You are coming home, pulling onto the street of a brand new subdivision, and the first thing you see is garages. Garage after garage after garage. A wall of identical garage doors stretching down the block. Every house the same. Same roof line, same windows, same 3 paint colors from the HOA approved list. You try to spot your own house. Third from the corner, fourth. They all blend together. Urban planners call these snout houses because the garage sticks out like a nose, dominating the entire front. Sometimes 60% of the facade, sometimes more, and the actual front door tucked away behind that garage like an afterthought. The car gets the grand entrance. The people who live there get a side door. Now think about the homes you remember. What greeted you when you arrived? A front porch, maybe a swing, room for a few chairs, a place to wave at neighbors, a place to sit with your morning coffee, a place that said, "Welcome," before you even reach the door. And here is something most people do not think about. Front porches were not just pretty. They were neighborhood watch before neighborhood watch existed. People sat outside. They saw who was coming and going. They knew their neighbors. They built community. Studies on urban design have shown that neighborhoods without front porches experience higher crime rates. Criminals assume no one is watching. And even without crime, the loss of porches reduces social connection. People cannot take a walk and know who lives on their street anymore. Builders stopped building them because porches cost money and do not add to the square footage on the listing. So now you pull into a garage, walk through a door, and suddenly you are inside. No transition, no welcome, no community, just you are home now. Walking in. You step through the door. Your $400,000 front door, and the first thing you notice is how it sounds when you close it. Hollow, light, almost flimsy, because it is hollow, literally. Cardboard honeycomb inside a thin veneer, weighs almost nothing, blocks almost no sound. Cost the builder about $40 for the first thing you touch every single day. Your grandmother's front door was solid wood. Oak or mahogany, heavy enough that closing it felt like something, secure, substantial. That door said this is a real home. This one says we spent as little as possible and hope nobody would notice. But you notice. Maybe not consciously, but something registers. This feels cheap, temporary. And then you look around. Where are you standing? In older homes, there was often an entry, a foyer, a place for coats and shoes, a landing zone. Now, to be fair, not every old house had this. Some homes from the 40s and 50s opened right into the living room too.
That is true, but here is the difference. Those homes were small and affordable. They were starter homes after the war. Builders were honest about what they were. Today, you are paying $400,000 or more and still walking directly into the kitchen, with whatever got left on the counter from this morning staring right at you. Welcome home.
The big room. Now you are in the big room, the open concept living area. Kitchen flows into dining flows, into living flows, into everything. For years, this was sold as the dream. HGTV pushed it constantly. Every home renovation show, every flipper, knock down the walls, make it open, modern. And for some people, it works. If you have a big family and want to keep an eye on everyone while cooking, I understand the appeal. Fair enough. But for a lot of people, the reality is different than the fantasy, because nobody warned you about a few things. First, the sound. Somebody is washing dishes. You are trying to watch something. Every clang, every splash, every sound travels right to you. There is no door to close, no separation. In your parents' house, you close the kitchen door. Problem solved. Here, you are turning up the volume, competing with running water. Second, the smells. You make fish for dinner. Within 20 minutes, the whole house smells like fish. Living room, bedrooms, everything. You make bacon on Saturday morning and the couch smells like bacon until Wednesday. And here is something even fewer people talk about: the grease. Steam carries grease particles from whatever you are cooking. If you do any amount of frying, that grease is landing on your couch, your chairs, your television, everything in that open space. Interior designers have documented this for years. It is why commercial kitchens are always separate. It is why restaurants have walls. There is a reason kitchens were always separate rooms. It was not old-fashioned. It was intelligent design. Third, the privacy. You cannot escape. There is no quiet corner, no room to close off. Everyone is in everyone's space all the time. Now look, if open concept works for you, great. Your home is your home. But for a lot of people, it is not the dream HGTV promised. And it is worth knowing that before you sign. If any of this sounds familiar, if you have felt these things but never quite had the words, I would appreciate it if you subscribed. There is more. Let us keep going. The gray. Now let us talk about something that has been bothering me for a long time. The gray. White walls, gray floors, gray cabinets, gray counters, stainless steel everything. Some call it the modern Depression era of interior design. And I think that name fits. Walk into one of these homes and it feels cold. Not temperature cold, emotionally cold. Sterile, like a hospital waiting room dressed up as a living room. Your grandmother's house had warmth, rich wood tones, colors someone chose because they loved them, crown molding that meant something, fireplaces made of brick or stone. You walk into a home from the 50s or 60s and it feels like somebody built it for a family. It feels like somebody cared. New homes feel like somebody built them for a quick sale. And here's something worth thinking about. Environmental psychology research has shown that our surroundings directly affect our mental state. Color, texture, natural materials, all of these influence mood, stress levels, even sleep quality. Surrounding yourself with cold, colorless spaces every single day has an effect. Maybe subtle, maybe not so subtle. Some people love the minimal look, and that is fine. Your home, your choice. But if you walk into a space and something feels off, you are not imagining it. There is a reason gray everything became popular. It is the cheapest, fastest way to make a space look clean in photos. It appeals to nobody and offends nobody. It is designed to sell, not to live in. The kitchen. While we are in the kitchen, let us talk about something that does not get mentioned enough. The table is gone. Look at new home designs. What do you see in the kitchen? An island with bar stools. That is where the family is supposed to eat now, perched on stools at a counter, like you are at a restaurant waiting for your food. Think about what got lost. A kitchen table was where families sat facing each other, where kids did homework while dinner was being made, where you lingered after eating, just talking, where holidays happened. It was furniture with meaning. Now, you get a granite slab with uncomfortable seating that tells you to eat fast and leave. Some homes still have dining rooms, but they are getting smaller, or combined into the open concept space, or eliminated entirely to add square footage somewhere else. If you can still find a home with a proper kitchen table or a real dining room, you are getting something they do not build into most new houses anymore. The windows. Here is something that surprised me when I first started paying attention to it. The giant windows. New homes have massive windows, sometimes entire walls of glass. Looks beautiful in photos, floods the space with natural light. But here's what nobody mentions. Windows are cheaper to install than full walls, so builders love them, and glass is terrible at temperature control. Building science is clear on this. Walls of windows in direct sun can shoot the inside temperature way up in the summer. In the winter, there is a perpetual chill within 10 feet of the glass. Single pane, double pane, it does not matter much. Glass simply does not insulate like a wall does. So you pay more for heating, more for cooling. And if you actually want privacy, you end up covering those beautiful windows with curtains anyway. Meanwhile, older homes had thoughtful window placement, enough light, enough privacy, walls that actually insulated. Nobody talks about this because big windows photograph well, but living with them is a different story. I want to hear from you. What do you miss most about older homes? What is the one feature you wish builders still included? Leave it in the comments. I read every single one. The rooms. Let us talk about the bedrooms, not the primary suite. That one is usually fine. Big closet, ensuite bathroom, plenty of space. It is the other bedrooms. The ones where kids sleep, where guests stay. Tiny. A bed fits, maybe a nightstand. That is it. The reason is simple economics. Builders discovered that 4 bedrooms sells better than 3, even if those bedrooms are barely functional. More bedrooms sounds better on the listing, even if you cannot actually use them. These are not bedrooms, they are sleeping pods. In older homes, secondary bedrooms were actual rooms. You could furnish them, live in them. Kids could do homework in them. Now, you are lucky if both nightstands fit. And here is something most people do not realize until they have been living in a new home for a while. You get headaches. You cannot explain. Your eyes feel dry, your throat scratchy. You think maybe you are coming down with something, but it only happens at home. Modern homes are sealed tight for energy efficiency, almost no air exchange with the outside, which sounds great until you realize what is sealed inside with you. All those new building materials, pressed wood cabinets, vinyl flooring, paint, adhesives, foam insulation, they release chemicals into the air. Volatile organic compounds, formaldehyde, benzene. That new house smell, that is not freshness. That is chemical off-gassing. The EPA has documented this extensively. Indoor air in new construction can have VOC levels 2 to 5 times higher than outside. In some cases, much higher. Your grandmother could open her windows and air out the house. You are living in a sealed box, breathing whatever the materials release. The build. So why is all of this happening? Why are new homes designed this way? One word: profit. I am not being cynical. I am being realistic. Almost every decision in new construction comes down to one question: how do we spend less and charge more? Every wall they can avoid building is money in the builder's pocket. Every detail they can skip is money saved. That is why today's building is so sparse. It is not minimal. It is sparse, and it goes beyond design. The materials. Hollow core doors, $40 versus $200 for solid wood. Luxury vinyl plank flooring. Looks like wood. Cannot be refinished. Wears out in 10 years. Thin drywall instead of plaster. You can punch through it by accident. Cabinet hinges that loosen. Faucets that drip after 6 months. Drawer slides that stick. Everything designed to look good on closing day and survive the warranty period. Nothing more. The real estate industry has a phrase for this: built for flipping, not for living. The flippers want to spend as little as possible, stage it beautifully, and sell fast. They do not care if it holds up. The builders want to cut every corner, meet code, and move to the next lot. They do not care if you are happy 10 years later. You are paying luxury prices for builder-grade quality, and nobody in the system is looking out for you. These are not homes. They are warehouses with a kitchen. Harsh, maybe, but walk through enough of them and tell me I am wrong. The bill. And here is what makes all of this so frustrating. $400,000 or more. That is what this costs. A new home in 2026, more than any point in American history. And for that money, you get hollow doors, vinyl floors, thin walls, tiny bedrooms, air quality issues, gray everything. Your parents bought a house in 1975 for $30,000. Adjusted for inflation, around $170,000 today. And that house had solid wood doors, real hardwood floors, a front porch, rooms that made sense, colors that someone actually chose. They paid less. They got more. We pay more. We get less. The model homes are staged beautifully. The photos look perfect. And by the time you realize what you actually bought, you have already closed. So where does this leave you? Here is what I want you to take away. You are not wrong for feeling like something is off. Something is off. The warmth, the quality, the character you remember from older homes, that was real. But here's the thing. Your home is your home. If you love open concept, keep it. If gray makes you happy, go for it. If modern minimal is your style, do not let anyone tell you otherwise. But if something feels wrong, trust that instinct. If you are house hunting, consider older homes, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Craftsman houses in particular were built with quality and character that is hard to find today. If you are buying new, ask questions. Demand upgrades. Know what builder grade actually means before you accept it at luxury prices. And remember, a house is where you live your life. It should feel like home the moment you walk in. You know what that feels like. You have felt it before. Trust yourself. Thank you for being here. If this was useful, I would be honored if you subscribed. We talk about real homes for real people, not just what looks good on a screen. See you in the next one.